Welcome back to Wrestling City. As always, I'm Taylor, and today we are checking out the biggest what ifs in WrestleMania history. This is uploaded by Pav Wrestling Gifts. I thought this would be a good video to react to since we are on the road to WrestleMania, about 30 days away now or so. But yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time, and let's see what the biggest what ifs are in WrestleMania history. So here we go.
For 4 decades now, WrestleMania has historically been the biggest wrestling show of the year. It's been the night where the biggest matches have went down, the biggest spectacles have taken place, and when it's done right, there is simply nothing better. But just like everything else in the world of wrestling, the history of WrestleMania is filled with hundreds of matches and moments that almost happened that would have changed everything. From last minute changes to plans just falling apart, WrestleManias of the past as we know them could have easily been vastly different. So with it being WrestleMania season, I thought, why not go back in time and find some old rumors, find some old reports, and take a look at things that almost happened at WrestleManias of the past. From failed
Mm,
returns to dream matches that fell apart and so much more, these are some of the most fun what-ifs in WrestleMania history, and let's get straight into it.
I'm
Let's start off with a
excited.
fun one. Let's start off with WrestleMania 20. Now, this is a mania that we know had one of the most legendary endings ever, but it's also a mania that could have easily ended in disaster. See, going into Mania 20, there was a lot of debate on what was going to be the main event of the show, which might sound crazy in hindsight, but looking back at it, this card was so damn stacked, it wasn't that clear.
Yeah,
Meltzer said a week before the show, this is the first Mania without a strongly defined
Meltzer.
main event, and rather, there are 5 matches that could all be labeled as the main event, and a week before the show, there was yet to be a confirmed show closer. And at the time, you gotta remember, the build for Lesnar versus Goldberg was batshit insane. They went all out for the build for this match. Austin was involved, wrestlers were showing up on different shows, Goldberg pulling up to No Way Out. If you go back and watch the build for this was easily the biggest and the most promoted match on the entire show. But as we know, then the match actually happened. People found out Lesnar was leaving and that Goldberg was leaving, and it ended up being one of the shittiest, biggest letdowns in WrestleMania history. But
Yeah.
imagine if they actually
Yeah.
main evented. Imagine if WrestleMania 20 ended with these two clowns staring at each other for 10 minutes while the crowd chanted, "This match sucks. This match sucks."
Yeah.
This would have been a disaster of epic proportions. WrestleMania 20, live from MSG, ending with this shit. Thankfully, it didn't, but it was a real
Yeah,
possibility
thank
because
God it
despite how
didn't.
history remembers this match, this was probably the biggest match going into the show. But thankfully, we got the triple threat and it was a classic. But hey, even that match was almost a different match. The original plan for that triple threat match was actually for it to be a triple threat ladder match for the world title. It was WrestleMania
Wow.
20, 10 years after WrestleMania 10, the same building, HBK back in a ladder match at the Garden. This would have been pretty wild, and it was a real consideration. But I think Triple H tapping was for the best, and also no need for more CTE for this fellow. But a fun little tidbit regardless. What would you choose? Let me know
Yeah.
down below. Well, let's move
Oh
on to WrestleMania
gosh.
21 the next year, and this is a show that is remembered as the night where the company crowned Batista and Cena as their new top dogs. But what is so crazy is, in the summer of '04, as the plans for Mania started, that was far, far from the plan. From the moment Evolution was born, it was always supposed to be Randy Orton closing at WrestleMania with Triple H and being crowned. But shit happened and they pulled the
Mm.
trigger too soon, and the rest was history. But what if they stuck to it and they didn't rush Orton and they went with the original plan? And what if we got Orton versus Triple H at WrestleMania 21? Everyone knows that this match was planned, but I think this is a pretty
Wow.
big what if, because if this actually happened, everything would have been totally different. What if
Yeah.
Batista ever become the huge star that he actually was without the Triple H feud? There's no guarantee. That '05 Batista push was lightning in a bottle, and a large part of it was because Orton flopped in late '04. If this happens, maybe Batista doesn't actually become a main eventer. Luckily, though, it all worked out. But from
Yeah,
97 to
that's crazy.
2004, fun fact, The Rock
Wow.
wrestled at every single WrestleMania. Yeah, and now he hates us. And when it was time for WrestleMania 21, Rocky, despite being in Hollywood, he was down for a match. The Rock wanted to go hard at WrestleMania 21. He apparently suggested matches against Sting. He apparently suggested for a match with Macho Man Randy Savage, and he even asked for Ric Flair. And all those sound super fun, super exciting, and pretty wild, with Flair being the most realistic. But see, the company, they had a different idea. As of August 2004, the original plan was for The Rock to take on JBL for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, and for not only for him to
What?
just have the match, but for him to win the match, win the title at Mania, and then drop the title back to JBL on SmackDown on some next level swerve. If this happened, first of all, what the were they thinking? Second, Cena's career would have definitely felt this, and realistically, this could have
Yeah.
altered Cena's entire
Wow.
career arc. If this had happened, Cena would have had to wait until May or July at the earliest to become champion, or you never know, maybe he doesn't become champion on SmackDown, gets sent to Raw in June, and has a totally different career arc. So I'm happy with how everything turned out, but as we
Y-
know, Rock ends up missing his first Mania, and he doesn't wrestle again till 2011, and it's because on December 31st, 2004, the company accidentally forgot to renew his contract, and The Rock was gone. But it's like, what if they did?
How do
What
you?
if he does take on JBL at Mania? What does that mean for the other Manias in the 2000s? Because then it's like, wait, does The Rock not take the hiatus then? Does he stick around for a
Yeah.
few more matches? Does he
Wow.
go in and out of Hollywood as he originally wanted to do? Does The Rock end up on WrestleMania 23 or at WrestleMania 24? It's weird because everything worked out, especially for Cena. But if Rock wrestles at
Yeah.
Mania 21, I don't think it's too crazy to say that he would have definitely wrestled before 2011, and he would have been way more involved with the company, and this would have changed everything. But JBL? Really? Well, let's
Yeah, that wow, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, imagine if it was The Rock and JBL and not Cena. I mean, we wouldn't have I don't who knows what Cena's career would have been like, just like Pav said. I mean, you look at his I mean, that right there catapulted Cena for the next 20 plus years. I mean, and look at him and look at Cena now, look at where he's at now. So, and I'm not sure a Rock and JBL match would have been all that great either. So I mean, that right there is by far the biggest what if in this video. Because yeah, I mean, yeah, what if, right? Wow, that that actually blows my mind. Not gonna lie.
talk about WrestleMania 24 real quick and let's get depressed. I think everyone and their mom knows at this point that Jeff was supposed to win the Money in the Bank in 2008, but after failing a drug test, the dream was over and the straight edge wrestler got it. Coincidence? I think not. This is something that has been talked to
Yeah.
death. Okay, everyone
Wow.
knows about this. Matt's talked about it. Jeff has talked about it. But what came up
Mm-hmm.
in my research for looking at what rumors from 2008 was there was a lot of chatter that Jeff was supposed to win and cash in the same night during the triple threat match. Now, take this with a huge grain of salt. I doubt it, but what if? If Jeff Hardy walks out of Mania 24 as champion, people in the crowd would have been feigning like it was an 80s Michael Jackson concert. I would have lost my mind. And when you think about it, what better match to do that than the one that was going down, where Orton retains against two legends somehow, then all you see is Jeff come out, do his weird ass dance, and he gets revenge for the Rumble 08 and walks out champion. Wrestling would have peaked for me easily. Take this with a huge grain of salt. I really doubt it, but what a fun what if. But let's
Yeah, yeah. What if Jeff Hardy was the first ever person to cash in at WrestleMania and walk out as champion? Maybe that Seth Rollins cash in that he did at WrestleMania 31 may have not been. I mean, I was gonna say it may not been that big in history, but I mean, you would have had to compare that to Jeff Hardy if that happened. It sucks that Jeff Hardy was, in a hard time during that, caught up on some bad stuff, but that would have been wild. Wow.
let's talk about my favorite one, the one that came up in my research that really had me excited. So we've been doing a lot of 2009 content here on the channel lately, talking about the Rumble 09 and recently No Way Out 09, and a WrestleMania 25 video is coming very soon. Everyone agrees that Orton vs Triple H was the right main event in 2009. It was the hottest angle, the best storyline, it could and should have been magic, but they messed it all up.
Yeah, that
But what
match
if I told you
sucked.
that the Triple H match was possibly a backup plan for Randy Orton? This one's gonna sound a little crazy, but hear me out. By 2009, Stone
Huh.
Cold Steve Austin had not wrestled in 6 years, but the man was only 45 years old, and with WrestleMania in Texas once again, with Stone Cold headlining the Hall of Fame, Austin for months in late 08 and early 09 was rumored to wrestle at WrestleMania 25. And apparently it was supposed to be against Randy Orton, the Viper versus the Rattlesnake, the Legend versus the Legend Killer. From February 1st, 2009, April 4th and 5th will be huge days for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Quote, not only will he be inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania 25 in Houston, Texas, but there is a strong likelihood that the Texas Rattlesnake will square off against Randy Orton in a farewell match at the annual extravaganza. Sources close to the situation have stated Austin will somehow get involved in the McMahon vs. Randy Orton feud that will culminate in the two facing off on pay-per-view. Moreover, it is strongly rumored that Austin will be inducted into the Hall of Fame by company owner Vince McMahon, which by the way ended up being true and this wasn't known at the time. The idea of McMahon inducting Austin plays into the proposed storyline for the Orton feud, as Austin will have McMahon's support going to the match after
Man.
being inducted by him for the Hall of Fame. Now I know, listen, this sounds crazy. First of all, it's like, why would Austin
Yeah.
help out Vince? Which I get it. But hey, all it takes is Randy crossing the line against Austin to make it personal, and then the McMahons don't even matter that much anymore. And honestly, if they really wanted to, they could have made this work. They were doing the whole storyline where Randy won the Rumble, but they're like, Randy, you're not going to main event WrestleMania. We're not going to give you a title shot. They could have easily pivoted and be like, yeah, you're not going to get a title shot, but you're going to take on this guy. Stone Cold comes out. Like, there's so much they could have done.
That would have
And
been
I know this
crazy.
sounds crazy, but I got some evidence. I got some things that back this up. Remember this iconic WrestleMania 25 poster that we all know and love? Well, fun fact, the original poster was actually this one, with Stone Cold Steve Austin front and center. And once Austin was out
I haven't
and
even
didn't sign
seen
on
this
for the
one.
match,
I don't
that's
think
when
I
this
have.
poster was actually released that we all know. This poster showed up online before this poster was ever released, and it was confirmed to have been on WWE.com for just a few hours, and it clearly says Sunday, April 1st. This wasn't for the Hall of Fame, and would they really put Stone Cold front and center if it was just for him to show up on the show? Obviously, it could still be a reach, but there were a lot of rumors at the time, and I think in hindsight, Austin versus Orton would have been so fire, especially considering what we know actually went down. If somehow Austin put over Orton, which I think is a little more likely than Triple H doing it, sorry Trips, it would have been generational. Orton punting Austin, cementing himself as the legend killer, killing the biggest legend in the game, and even if he didn't, even if Austin won, or Randy just punted him afterwards and sent him on a stretcher, that itself would have been fine.
Yeah,
And
that would have
then
been.
Orton goes on to beat
That would have been
Triple H.
awesome to
That
see.
would have been game changing. It would have been special. Of course, I would miss Orton doing this to Stephanie, and Triple H breaking into Orton's home. Of course, but why not move
Yeah.
that back a little? Why not have both? this would have been fun. I think a lot of this though is me wanting this because Orton versus Triple H ended up sucking at Mania. But
Yeah, me
Austin
too,
in
honestly.
09 at 45 years old after 6 years of healing up. Yeah, these two would have been crazy. It would have been generational. It would have been so special. Yeah, I wish. I really wish. When it comes to the Undertaker,
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I said that last what if the biggest what if that we got with what was it the one that he did just what's it this one, yeah, I said this. I mean, this right here, I think tops it. I mean, could imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake versus the Viper. I mean, that would have. Now, who's to say that, maybe the match wouldn't have been better than what we got between Orton and Triple H, but just the moment that would have had, them two standing in the ring, face to face, eye to eye, toe to toe, going at it on the biggest stage of them all. That man. And yeah, if Randy Orton would have got that win over Stone Cold Steve Austin, wow, that that just blows my mind.
streak, there are three big what ifs. Or I
Mm.
guess four, okay? The first one is what if the streak never ended? The second one would be what if there never was a streak? And this third one is what if Cena and Undertaker went at it in their primes, which sadly, it was never even rumored or ever really planned seriously. But fourth, what if at WrestleMania 27 we got Sting versus The Undertaker? Sting versus The Undertaker is one of the, if not the biggest what if match in wrestling history. No matter
Yeah.
how much Sting and Taker might try to downplay and say it might have sucked and it was going to be like this and that, I don't care. This is one of the biggest dream matches ever, and it felt like every year
Yeah.
in the early to mid 2010s, it was like, holy shit, is this the year Sting pulls up? And it's so crazy to look back at early 2011, especially February 2011, and remember how excited everyone was for Sting to possibly join the company and take on The Undertaker. When they aired this promo on Raw hyping up to 2111, there is nothing you could have told me then, and there's nothing you can even tell me now that this wasn't a promo aired to build hype for Sting versus The Undertaker. This promo is so similar to classic WCW Sting promos. Sting had just become a free agent, nobody knew who Taker was going to take on at WrestleMania 27, and the show was in Atlanta, WCW country. The stars were literally aligned, and to me,
Yeah.
this always seemed
Wow.
like the company putting this out there to kind of test the waters and build hype, not just for the fans, but probably for Sting too. Like, hey, look at how the people are reacting. They're eating this up. Come, sign with us. Let's do the match. And yo, there were just so many rumors at the time. There's so much fuel to the fire that on February 2nd, the New York Daily Times reported it that Sting had officially signed a 1-year contract with the company. So when the promo aired, like, it got even more hype and people analyzed it to death. Oh my God,
Wow.
it's raining. It's the same boots. It's the trench coat. It's this. Obviously, it ended up being Taker, but at the time, we were just grasping for anything to be like, yeah, it's Sting. And once I think Sting didn't sign, that's when the company probably pivoted and they released more promos where it's obvious that, yeah, it's just Undertaker return promo, guys, nothing to see here. But listen, I was 13 years old at the time. I was all over wrestling forums and websites just every day praying that Sting had signed. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are too young to remember or weren't on the internet back then. But when this promo aired, it
I mean,
was
I
one of
was
the first
11
things that really set the internet wrestling
when
community on
this was
fire.
going on.
Every Facebook post,
I just
every site
turned
you can
11,
imagine,
actually.
Twitter, I'm sure MySpace was blowing up. Bleacher Report was like, holy shit, Sting.
MySpace.
And it truly was the perfect time. And I don't think either party will ever speak to how close it really was. They always deny it, and they always downplay
Yeah.
the match to make it seem like it was gonna be like the worst match ever. Which, guys, relax, okay? First of all, it's fake. Second, you guys would have been fine. Third, the crowd would have done 80% of the work to make it a classic. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just go back to this time,
Fair
look at the
enough.
rumors, the reports, and just see how excited everyone was on YouTube comments and everything. I think this was a lot closer than they would have us believing. What if? I really wish this went down. Another what if that comes to mind
Yeah,
is what
man.
if they
Me
went with the
too.
original plan and had Cena just beat The Rock at WrestleMania 28? How different everything would have been. WrestleMania 29 would have ended up being vastly different and probably way better. We probably would have got Punk versus Cena, and we probably would have got Brock versus Rock. And another similar one is what if they went with the original plan at WrestleMania 31 and just had Roman Reigns beat Brock Lesnar, but then did the cash in after that? For 7 years after this
Yeah.
match, okay, which we know this was fire, it was a great match, it was lightning in a bottle. The
Mm-hmm.
company went mentally insane trying to capture that magic again and force Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns down our throat and try to get Roman over by beating Brock. It was like the never-ending saga of our lives. The original plan for this match was for Roman to win and win the title. His whole family was there and they went nuts when he lost. Everyone thought Roman was winning. I'm sure Roman thought he was
I
going to
thought
win
he was
99%,
winning.
but he didn't, and said so the show. But what if, even just for 2 minutes, they had Roman slay the dragon, they had him pin Brock Lesnar 1, 2, 3, and then Seth cashed in on him? Yo, maybe then for 7 years we wouldn't have been tortured with this and like watch them bend over backwards try to get Roman's lick back. Maybe your
Yeah.
society would have been 10 times better if they had just had Roman pin Lesnar and then do the shenanigans. Now, what am I?
Yeah, because like imagine if, because we all know, Rollins put that chair in Roman's back, and imagine Roman finally wins the WWE title. Wow, I just had a stroke saying that. The title that night, and then Seth goes out there and screws him over once again. Man, I mean that would have been wild. Yeah, I legitimately thought that Roman Reigns was going to win this match. Like, and then when Seth Rollins cashed in that night, I did not like Rollins at all, and I was such a huge Roman Reigns fan at this time. I was so mad. Like, I can't express how mad I was when this happened, but yeah, that's a crazy what if.
I
Oh,
think Vince definitely would have found a way. Yeah, no, we were destined to be fucking depressed. But yeah, those are some of the fun
yeah.
what ifs that I could find. There are obviously many, many more famous ones that we've all heard, right? Like, of course, Hogan and Flair not main eventing WrestleMania 8 is one of the stupidest decisions they've ever made. How do you not run that match? You know, the plan of Eddie versus HBK at WrestleMania 22, it's always heartbreaking to hear. They would have tore the house down. That would have been a
Yeah,
classic.
that
There is
man, that
what
would
if
have
the
been
streak never
great.
ended? What if this person ended the streak? What if WrestleMania 36 went down as originally planned with fans? Does Roman and Gold
I was supposed to go to that WrestleMania too. We had tickets bought, hotel booked, everything, man. That's one of the ones I just go back and I'm just like, man, what if I got to go to that WrestleMania? That would have been my first WrestleMania ever, and then COVID happened, so I still have yet to go to WrestleMania, but hopefully I can go to one real soon.
Goldberg tear the house down? Probably not. But does that
Yeah,
mean we
probably
never
not.
get a heel Roman Reigns, or how long does it take for Roman to
Yeah,
turn heel then? That's a pretty huge one. If I missed some other big ones, let me know. I just didn't want to repeat the same ones over and over again. I just wanted to have some fun with this video. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if I missed any. But yeah, those are some of the biggest what ifs in WrestleMania history. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's your boy Pav. I hope you guys learned something new in here. Hope you guys had some fun. And
yeah.
hopefully you're not too depressed at things that almost happened. Because, I feel you. I definitely.
Yeah, another great video there from Pav. Yeah, I actually did not know about this, The Rock and JBL. I think that's about. I also didn't know about this either. Uh, Potentially having Randy Orton and Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 25. But yeah, those were some pretty crazy what ifs in WrestleMania history. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications so you never miss an upload. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. We can't hit that if you don't hit that subscribe button. It only takes like 5 seconds of your time. And we promise you will love this channel if you are a wrestling fan. We always upload wrestling content. We're getting to a point where it's daily now. So, yeah, hit that subscribe button and come join the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. That's about it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.